I wish to start with a video. Is it possible to get it?
Italy is changing, and it's not a matter of time, but of knowing that the future is already here. Technological innovation leads to new social behaviors, and we have a unique opportunity to design a new future. We have been embracing this change for the past 10 years, helping young people become the protagonists, working with companies to drive innovation, promoting our territory as the stage for economic and cultural growth, to generate new business models, leading the digital transformation of our companies, creating culture through a new educational model. Our responsibility is to spread this awareness, to make a positive impact, create value, and leave a permanent mark. Let's start today to do what is necessary, then what's possible, and suddenly we will surprise ourselves doing the impossible.
Well, to tell you about HFARM, I would say it's an amazing journey. It's almost 12 years now that we started HFARM, and going back to 2005 was probably early. It was the early age of the digital, the new digital economy, and we had a very clear vision once we started. Everything changed through 12 years, and it kept evolving pretty fast. The aim, it was to create an environment for the next tech-native entrepreneur generation, because the main assumption, we had two strong assumptions once we started. Everything was really, 2005 was not like today, which is pretty clear how technology and how the new model are changing life. But for myself and my co-founder, Ricardo, it was very clear the impact that technology have in our day life. And the second strong assumption for us, it's the human. It's also, you're going to see the letter H stands for human. It's the human factor. I strongly believe that our behavior used to be adapted in the past on the existing technology. So the human used to be part of a larger frame, larger infrastructure, the job, how the jobs were designed, how the education was structured and designed to prepare people going to fit into the labor or the employment. Well, if now you're going to have artificial intelligence, smart technologies, and all such stuff, it means that technology has to adapt to the human behavior. So this is a completely change of the main paradigm. So those 2 points are our driver. According with a dream, a vision, it's the farmhouse that we, at the beginning, say, let's have a house. But the dream, it's creating a village, creating a campus, try to get as many as possible, try to create a little ecosystem. So this is the romantic part of the story. At the beginning, on 2005, we started a sort of incubator. We invented the first 4 companies. And after a couple of years, year and a half, 2 years, once, that's the evolution of the ecosystem worldwide, started to engage more B2C startup. The first startup in 2007, 2008, were inspiring the young entrepreneurs. We immediately started to face some challenges because we are in the outskirts of Venice. We're not in Silicon Valley or Tel Aviv, which is a tech ecosystem. So from there, we started to work very closely and understand what are our values, how can we create something special according with the technology, the humans, and the business if we are not in Silicon Valley, if we are not in Tel Aviv, The world is so big. So to make the long story shorter, today HFARM is a public listed company, and we can define it like a platform, an innovation platform. And we basically put together a young generation, the corporations, so the existing business that has to change, and the startup. So I like this chart. This gives a little bit idea of what is HFARM about. You see education, startup, and transformation. It's under deliver. It's basically what we do. Our core comes in fostering startups and promoting and helping young entrepreneurs. But we know there is an existing large, massive, low-tech business that it need to change. Because over the first 5, 6, 7 years, the technology, it was mostly creating tech startup for tech giants. So try to build something that Google can buy it or Facebook could do it. But if you're going to see like today, a good example is a Tesla, which is a company who is not virtual company, is not the typical web company, but it's just doing automotive. But it's not automotive because Tesla is much more. It's kind of energy. So it is transforming something that is a product where we have corporation that is building automotive, a product just to put wheels on the road. So that's going to be a great example because most of corporations you're going to see the banking, you're going to see all the low-tech business that surround us has to be transformed. And they cannot do it by themselves. And we cannot think to just shift a page because the next startup going to kill entirely an industry. It's like Airbnb. It's inspiring. It's pushing a lot. It's moving, the boundaries of the travel industry, but it's not killing 100% of this industry. So there is a huge business of what is transformation. And you see the education, and you're also going to see there, young people, corporations, and the clusters, the territory. Each territory has a value. There is a value in the city, which is different than Berlin, which is different than Venice, which is different than any place. So moving away from the previous century, last century, it was looking to standardize, try to get everything doing the same thing. Today we have, amazing value from the diversity. So basically the model we have now, you can see here, that's the main pillar of our business model, how to get an incubator, which is very difficult business model, is not sustainable business model, turning in something that can work. So as you can see, we still have investments, so we still invest in 2 startups. But there is the industry. So try to connect the knowledge coming out from the startup. Try to connect, try to teach, and try to actively support a corporation to say, you cannot hire the next generation just to pay 1,000 euro, giving them a badge to say, that's your desk, and please help me to change the company. That doesn't work. Next generation is co-working, it's co-living, it's completely different. So how can we reverse our knowledge in creating startup? Not only to seek money. I have a startup, I need round A, I need round B, I need someone who's going to buy my company, otherwise my investors are not happy. It's very difficult for a startup to have a venture capital that gives the money. It's very challenging. So let's have startup and in somehow working closely to change the mindset and to actively support those corporations to really work with the startup ecosystem. So this is basically it's kind of clinic for those company HFARM. They come there, they say, please help us. We run specific programs for companies like Cisco, like Deutsche Bank, like Sky Television, like Technogym, for Chinese companies, because since HFARM is a kind of ecosystem, it's a comfort zone for those corporations, and also the education, because the education, it's a really education large. We have school We have international school, but our model is very simple. We give entrepreneurship. We give technology, but it's not it's not information technology school. We don't teach engineering because there is already incredible engineering or tech school. But we want to get, since the early age of kids, becoming very comfortable with the technology, because through the technology they're going to change. They're going to use the technology in a natural way. They must be problem solving, because this generation has to be very entrepreneurial to change and to offer a different answer. So we have academic program that starts from the kids go to the university, but also we do sort of after school program. So we create summer camp, we get kids on the Saturday, through the weekend. So we try to educate, and also the corporation, we create specific program to get a corporation getting very close to the mindset of the startup. So this comes kind of naturally. I don't go through all these slides. I want to just jump in here. That's the campus. That's in 2 years we started now. The extension. The extension is going to be an extra 30 hectares. Let's say in 2 years from now, it's going to be 40 hectares. That's some of the images you see here, how this is going to be developed. We have the main hall. It's designed by Richard Rogers. It's a 2,000 people large hall where we can do several things. That's going to be about 3,000 people. Today, HFARM size is about 600 in business and 350 in students. That's organically growing pretty fast over the next 2 years, and we're going to reach probably these numbers. We are extending some programs in New York City, in Milan, in different cities, and that's it. It's to explain about HFARM is even for me, that's I'm a founder. HFARM is a place once you step in, after 5 minutes, I don't know if you can tell, you can understand immediately about everything. To explain, there is no video, there is no presentation that can give really the idea what it means creating a small environment, a small ecosystem. It's really very effective in terms of vibration, And you see old school, C-level people understanding in 5 minutes what is about the energy and how good are the young people. If they listen to a consultant, after 10 minutes they lose the path. They say, okay, he's telling me so many things. But if you jump, if you walk into an hackathon and you see the people, what they're doing, you understand it. So this is about HFARM.
Great. Thank you very much, Maurizio. Thank you. Let's open a few questions here for you. Anyone has a question for Maurizio? Anyone? A gentleman right there.
I loved your passion and energy. That comes across. Tell me, listen, I'm Scottish, so I'm really cynical and whatever. You mentioned Cisco, you mentioned Deutsche Bank. These companies are not capable of innovating on their own. They're too big. Aren't you worried that by giving access to these massive Chinese companies that you alluded to, that they're going to take the IP, steal the IP, and kill the people that you're innovating?
Yeah, this is a very good question, but this is also the point. It's we don't give IP or we don't give we are a platform. We are a people combination. So we usually don't deal with the R&D department and say, I try to give you for small money this guy who has the IP. We say, tell me what you're not able to do it inside. Move out. It's a helping them to really jump inside the crowdsource, to jump inside, to be open, to jump outside them, because those companies, it's completely different paradigm. They just close, they want to find the solution themselves, and you say, hey, find something that's not conflicting with your corporation. But it could be a project, it could be something specific. Go outside. So we started this process 4 years ago, involving those corporations with hackathons. And they say, that's weekend, come here over the weekend. And you're going to have today, that's what they say, you have your top executive people, you are enjoying weekend. All your company is doing the weekend, right?
Yeah.
You have here 500 people. It's an interdisciplinary crowd of people, so it's not just developers that crack a code, just work individually. They will combine, we don't know them, they will combine together, and they will work over 24 hours on your brief. You challenge them with a specific need you want to have, and you're going to have people that are not paid just because they believe in your company, in what you're doing. They take their free time over the weekend to work 24 hours non-stop for you and for nothing because you have not any obligations. So this started to really, for us, it was very important because we felt the power, really the tangible power of the people who wants to collaborate. But also for those companies, it was like surprising. There was some companies that didn't react very well. Other companies say on Monday morning, say, hey, can we do that? That's really amazing. And they say, that's just a spontaneous combination. I don't know if these people, this could be a jobless, it could be one person who's a student. We don't know if they are able to realize, create this project. But that's part of a process that you as a company, if you go outside and you have a structure, you have a strategy, you can really start converting into the new, because I think in the future, a corporation need to become platform. And the problem I see, especially in Germany, I see a lot of corporations, they create their own accelerator, their own innovation. And for exact reason you say, they cannot innovate because they try, to have always the control. And in the end, it's a different job. If they're able to do it, they still have to change the company. Mm-hmm. So we promote to say, if you have a strategy, you must have a strategy, a long-term strategy, and you want to jump outside and meeting the startup ecosystem, you need to go where ecosystem is. So you need to be ready to invest some of the money, you need to have a real strategy, you need to have a real brief, a real commitment. And it's different company by company, of course. It's let's say the day two, it's very challenging because I see most of corporations will fail, few will be able to react, and few probably can be able to really transform successfully in time themselves to really keep their position to become a driver. For us, it's a business. Yep. Basically, they pay. They pay. So we need to sustain the company because we're public and we need to find some kind of revenues.
Great. Maurizio, thank you very much. Well,
thank you
for an excellent place
listening.
you have built. And looking forward to seeing you in a panel later on. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.